You might not have thought about it at the time, but when we were working with resources and we were actually applying, different resources to our different tasks, wasn't really a major problem at all. But think about it. If you, let's say, put together your first project, you got your resource sheet, you've been applying different resources to those different tasks, and then you get the brainy idea that, okay, how about if we put together a second project or a third project? Well, you're probably going to be using the same resources, but think about this. If you, in that first project, grabbed a number of different resources, and then for the second project, you're going to do the same thing. Now, if that second or third project is using its own resources, in other words, it has its own resource sheet, the problem is you're not going to know when you start choosing different resources for your second project whether you've already used those resources in the first project. And it wouldn't be any big problem until we get to a point where there might be tasks that are happening around the same time as other tasks in the other project that you've assigned the same people to or resources. And on the surface, you're not going to know while you're in project 2 if a particular resource that you want to apply to one of your tasks in project 2 is already spoken for in project 1 in a task that might be overlapping that same time period. So you'd have to go back to the other project, the first project, and look and see when you applied a particular resource to different areas, and make sure that the time that you applied them, that person there doesn't, get duplicated in the second project. And that's just with 2 projects. Could you imagine if you had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different projects going at the same time? That's going to be a nightmare. So the solution to this would be to create a project file that has nothing but a resource sheet in it with all your resources. Then when you set out to create your first project, instead of using the resource sheet that would be in that project file, you're going to tap into or link to the resource sheet in that initial project file that you put together that just has the resource sheet in it. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to set up an initial project file that has nothing but the resource sheet in it. And we're going to call that the resource pool. And then we'll bring on our regular project files, and we're going to link to that resource pool of that other file. By doing this, we're going to be able to share resources amongst the different project files, and we're going to know if we've used a particular resource in a particular file and thus go for a different resource, right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put together the resource pool, and I'll open that up for us so we can see that. So there it is. Okay, so initially, when we first encountered this or had brought this up on the screen, we take this, we immediately go over into the resource sheet area, right? That view, and we would put in all of our resources. And these are all going to look pretty familiar because we had used these in past videos. So once you get them all in there, we would go ahead and we'd save it. And I just happen to save it as just the resource pool. Now, if this is something that more than just you are going to use on all your different projects, you might want to put this file out on the network in a folder that other people that are using project that are going to be using the same resources would be able to access. All right, so that would be what you'd want to do. Okay, then what we do is we create our first project file. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just bring that one up. So this will be our first one. Okay, I've already got it put together, so you can pretend like I just sat there and just typed all that in. So we would have all of our different tasks in there. We have our subtasks or our summary tasks and so forth. And we got them all kind of related together. We have a particular starting point for that particular project. Now, if I go over to the resource sheet, so I'll just do a right click here, go to resource sheet, there it is, nothing, all right? So we're going to tell the program that we don't want to use the resource sheet that you're seeing here, even if we filled it in with something. We don't want to use this sheet. Instead, we want to use the resource sheet that's in that other file that you just saw. Now, in order to link them up, the first thing you have to make sure of is that you have that resource pool file open, which we do, all right? And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go over to the resource tab. We're going to go over here to, in the assignments area called resource pool. We're going to tell it we want to share resources, all right? And that we want to use the resources not our own, but rather the ones from this file here, okay? That would not even be listed there if we had that closed right now. So it's open, that's how we're able to get to it. You always want the pool to take precedence. That's going to allow us to make sure that if I try to use a resource that's already being used at that time in another project, I'll be alerted to that, all right? So that'll be good there. So we'll go ahead and hit OK on that, and there it goes. It just kind of links to that sheet. They kind of get pasted in there, but they're still coming from that other sheet. All right, which is the resource pool. Okay, so now I'm going to go and open up my other project file. So there we go. So this is our phase 2 project, all right? And so we're going to go again back into the resource pool. Oh, let me do this first. Oh, never mind. So we'll go hit the resource pool, just like that. Share resource. And again, we choose this guy here. That's it. The pool. We hit OK, and there we go. And now if we go over to that particular one, the resource sheet there it is. But that's not of this particular file, it's of that resource pool file, that original one. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and bring across the third one now. Then again, we're going to go back to the resource pool, share resources. We're going to pick that same file, hit OK, and then we can actually take a look at it. There it is. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and close the 3 files, the phase 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to close each one. I'm just click onto it, say yes, and then number 2, we'll save that one, and number 1, close that one, and save it. And that just leaves us back with the resource pool. Now, while I'm in the resource pool, if I go to the resource pool button here and click onto it, and click on the share resources, it's going to show me the 3 different files that I'm using, phase 1, 2, and 3. Those are the 3 project files, is where they're located at. All right, and then we'll just go ahead and hit OK on that. Now, next thing, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to save this, all right, because we haven't saved it yet. So I'll save it like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and close it. There we go. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to start putting my, or applying my resources to each of my project's tasks. So I'm going to open up the first phase file here. And it's going to ask, do I want to open up the resource pool so that I can, use that to get my, and I definitely want to open it up because I'm going to want to know as I'm applying my resources if they are already spoken for at those same times in other projects, right? So you always do that one there. So we'll hit OK on that. All right. And now here's phase one. That's what we're looking at. We're on their resource sheet. So I'm just going to go back over here and go back to the Gantt chart. There we go. All right. So now what I'm going to do, very, very easily, very quickly here, we're going to assign some resources to what we have here. So we're going to go back into what? We've got our resource. So we'll click on to assign resource. There it is. And what we'll do here is we're going to go with this one here. We'll say we want clutch on that one. All right. On this one here, we'll say we want Gomez there. And on these two, I think they're not overlapping. Yeah, so on those two, I want to put Herman. All right, and assign it. So that's what we have so far. Now for the bottom group there, we'll take this one here, and we're going to tell it that we want to put, let's say, the Cinco swarm here. Okay. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do the crew of 2 on that one. Okay. So we'll click that, hit assign. Now, as you might have remembered about that one, the crew of 2 is actually 2 different people, 2 different, I should say resources, but they're 2 different people, which are resources, and we've used one of them. So now, if we go into another project and we go and we use that same resource for a task that might be happening about the same time, I'll still be able to use it because I still have one person left of that group, right? And now for the latter 2 here, we'll go ahead and we'll put in the Tucker twins. Okay, there we go. All right, then we'll close that up. All right, so we're all set there. So that's good. So I'll go ahead and I'll save this. And what you do, just hit OK on that. All right, good. Now I'm going to leave this one open. Not that I have to, but it'll just make it easier for me to compare with later on. But in real life, you do not have to keep this one open. You don't have to have all of your project files open that are all linking to that pool. Okay, but I'm just going to leave it up here just for convenience. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and we'll open up our second project file, phase 2. All right. And we'll go back over to the Gantt chart. There it is. Then we'll go ahead and bring up my Assign Resources window. There we go. I'm going to choose this first task here. And I'm going to apply clutch cargo to it. Okay. Now when I go to assign it, I get the little red guy. And of course, the reason for that is that on that first project file, which was happening about the same time, we had also assigned clutch. So what we'll do in this situation is we'll go ahead and we'll remove clutch, and I'll click on the Gomez instead and hit assign there. Same problem. So I will hit remove on that one. So maybe what I'll do is just make sure that the list that I have here is only of resources that I can use for this time period. So what I can do here is, this is now 6 days. So I'll go over here to the available to work. I'll type in 6D, all right? And you'll see then it kind of lists out what you see here. So there it goes. So at this point, then it looks like I can go with Herman. So I'll click onto that, hit assign, and there we go. Perfect. All right. So what I'll do next is, for this next one, I need 5 days. So I'll just click down there, and I'll go with, I can just deselect this. And on this one, I'm going to go with Ray Donovan. So I'll assign that. No problem there. And on this one here, I'm going to go with my Tucker twins. Use one of them. No problem there. And actually on this one too, I think I'll use the Tucker twin as well. So I'll just put them on there too. All right. So that looks good. And we look back there, we can see what we have. And then for this whole group here, we're going to use the, where are they at? Oh, they're down the bottom here. The Cinco Swarm, all right? We'll assign that, no problem. There we go. All right, so no little red guys, so no, we're doing okay there as well. Now I'll go ahead and I'll save this for safekeeping there, and I'll get the same message here. It's just explaining the whole idea of the pool. All right, so that's it. So now we've got one more to go. We're going to open up the phase 3 file. There we go. And we'll go back to our Gantt chart. This is a smaller one here. All right, so I'll bring up my assign resources. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put, watch this one, I'm going to go ahead and put clutch on this one, okay? So on this first task here, click on a clutch, hit assign, and it's like, oh, look what happened there, huh? All right, so we have the little red guy that popped up there. Now, let's just say that it's inevitable. We have to have clutch, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to level this, all right? And what it's going to do is it's going to kind of change this up so that I will be able to use clutch on this particular task, all right? And we've seen this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit level all, okay? And when I click onto that, there it goes. And what it did, it stretched this thing out so where it went past the same time period for the other task or tasks that were overlapping and causing it to be over allocation. Here, let me show you what it did here. I'm going to go ahead and clear that leveling. So initially that task was from the 15th to the 23rd, see? So what it does in this case, it says level all, and now it's 21 through 30, see? So it completely shifted it over to the right a little bit, you know, further into the future. So that's what you'd have to do to avoid the problem. Okay, now I'll go ahead and I'll bring up my resource sheet again here, or resources I should say. And on this one here, I want that to be Gomez. So I apply Gomez there, no problem. And on this one here, I want clutch. Okay, so we'll assign clutch, no problem. And over here, we'll go ahead and we'll put Ray on that one. That's it. Now let me just give you a parting thought with all this. If you're in one of your projects that is sharing, you know, a resource pool, you can actually go back to the resource sheet. In this case, we're in the phase 3 one here, and here they all are, right? You can actually add additional resources on this sheet, which is in phase 3, and it will automatically add that to the original resource pool, okay, which is pretty cool. So if I just go down to here and I type in, I'll just type in Chip, all right? He's a worker, and said he makes, you know, $50 an hour. Okay, so I'll just leave it like that. No big deal there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back over to phase 2's project, and I can do that just going over here to window or to view here, and over here in this little button right here, it says switch windows. I can click on there and it shows me all of my open files, right? And I can go over, let's say, to phase 2 here, right? And I can then go to its resource sheet, and lo and behold, there's that new resource. So works really well. I could have also gone back to my original pool, all right, and you'll see that as well down there. And one more thing, if you want to take one of your projects out of the pool, in other words, you want to stop sharing the pool of resources, you just want to go with the resources that are on the resource sheet of that file that you're on. Okay, so whatever project file it is, it currently is linked. Like in this case, let's say we're on the phase 3 project here, right? I want to go back to just using this sheet that's within my own project here, and disconnect from the other one, right? From the pool, right? So how do you go about doing that? Well, what you do is, first of all, from this side, on the phase 3 side, what you'll do is you'll go in there and you'll click back onto resource. You'll go to the resource pool, share resources, and you're going to tell it that no longer do you want to use the pool, you just want to use your own resources. All right? So you choose that, you hit OK, and there we go. What ends up happening is that you get disconnected, but at least the resources that you had assigned to your project, to your different tasks, are going to stay in place. So you'll still have them. All right? So that's not a major loss there. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is we're going to go back into View, and we're going to switch over to the resource pool itself. All right. And now we're in the resource pool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to resource pool, share resources, right? And then what you need to do is click on to the phase 3. Now, sometimes it will get removed automatically. All right, it's kind of a fluky thing here, but so just imagine phase 3 being here, okay? And now what you do is you click onto it, you tell it that you want to break the link, and then it would go away. All right, I'll do it on this one here. I'll just so you can see this. So I'll click onto there, hit break link, and that's it. That's all you'd have to do, and then that would be removed from there. So that's how you get them disconnected. So, all right. So hopefully this is of some help. I think it's a definite must if you're going to be putting together multiple projects and you're going to be using the same resources. You definitely want to make sure that that you're alerted to the fact that you might be already using a resource during the same time on another project's task that you're trying to apply on the current project task, right? Okay, so hopefully this comes in handy. I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.